We're live finally. Hey y'all, how you doing? Uh, I've been back here in the portal, and it's a job. Let me tell you, it's a damn job. So I've been upgrading some things technologically and allegedly. I'm just going to say allegedly because that can change at any moment around here. However, I ordered a new what do you call it? A new internet. I have a whole tower or whatever just to myself. I don't have to share it with the family. My computer is hooked right to it. Ethernet. So I'm thinking the problem the whole time was maybe my bandwidth. I hope I'm right so I can rub this in Jason's face. So let me know. I should not have any internet problems. Do the whole rabbit foot, whatever. It's nuts. So hopefully, this solves my problem with staying connected with you guys. I don't know why that light just did what it did, but it did that. So, how's it going? So good to see you guys here. I apologize for this. I also, we had to do some splurging this month, and I had to get a little window unit for in here, and it's very quiet. And if without it, I would just sweat to death. So, if y'all hear it, I apologize. I bought the quietest one for the money, and it feels good in here. I'll tell you that. I appreciate that. um, so yeah, I've done some upgrades around here, and just now I was having problems. I know y'all want to hear all my problems, right? But they're normal problems. So I like to talk about normal problems instead of the cluster whatever that we deal with on a daily basis with Chad and Lori. So I appreciate y'all letting me dish here and just kind of defrag my mind. And I forgot what I was going to say. Upgrades, something about, anyways. So I don't know, just been spending money, and it's not like I have it to spend. But and got some good news. Y'all didn't really know about it though. So whenever this is so crazy, but whenever I was in Boise, and then Jason came and met me. He flew out, I think, May 5th, and our van was stolen from here, and so he didn't tell me. Okay, he did not tell me, you know, when he found out. And so I found out kind of like when we got home. And so we've been without a vehicle since we got back from Boise. Do you know what that is like? They found it, I'm just saying, I'm glad, but I'm also like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Um, Same thing with our insurance company and how we live in a mobile home. And this 92 model mobile home, okay, has survived two catastrophic, wink wink, almost five hurricanes, direct hit. And we have insurance. We we do all the insurance things. And anyway, so that's good. Our house was never damaged. It's a rental, but we have renter's insurance and everything. But so everybody else, my family, a lot of people had a lot of, damage or whatever. So kind of the same thing with the van. The van, I was like, I don't. If somebody stole it, I don't want it back. Like I'm done. Like I feel violated. I don't know. It's a weird feeling, and I don't know how to explain it. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for what we do have. It's little, but it's. I'm grateful. I'm humble. And so, I mean, it was like a month, okay. And I was like, we were about to, you know, uh, build it. We claimed it on our insurance and everything. Jason had been talking to the investigators, and yeah, van. a freaking van that was given to me by my parents, actually. So a secondhand van. But anyways, so so come to find out, it was found in near San Antonio, Texas. Well, really close to the border, if you know what I mean. And then they rescued some girls out of it. Let's just say that. So thank God for that. But I'm just like, what did they do in it? And what did they? Oh my God! I think about that Samuel, whatever, the little prophet dude that was transporting, those young Mormon girls. And that's the first thing that goes through my mind. And I'm just like, there's drugs. Would they do in it? Is there anything left in there? I don't want it. Like I would just rather go and pick out something that I like, anyways. But it's back. So I don't know I don't know if that's a blessing or good luck, or I don't even know if it's good, but either way, we do have wheels. So there's that. And it's just been nuts. Yeah, they found the girls. I don't know what the girls they were looking for, or if they just happened upon them. And it's crazy because my parents owned a transportation company, and they had these big stickers that they used to put in the vans. Okay, it's not just any van. It's their big old van, big old white van. So look like the damn A-Team, right? Or Jason always picks and says something about the white van down by the river or something. It's Saturday Night Live. Chris, what's his face? I forget his name. Funny dude. But anyways, yeah. So they found one of the coastal stickers, and they stuck it up. Like they put one of the decals on the windows. I don't know why. I guess so they could be more incognito. It's weird. It's a weird story. And I was like, I don't want to tell these people this. But, it is what it is. I can't polish it. You can't polish a turd. That's across the board for everything, I think. Silence of the Lambs white van. I don't know. I just, I don't. I just want my own vehicle, where I used to love going drive and turn the radio up and just get lost in my thoughts. I haven't done that in so many years now. I would love to. I used to have a Volkswagen Jetta, and she was very fast. A diesel, and it was a black car. And anyways, I miss her. She would go 180. One time I did that. I had to see. I had to just see if it worked. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know. So yesterday I had all kinds of revelations. And that's what I was telling Donna backstage. I was like, I couldn't find my tab. My StreamYard tab. So I was like, I don't know where it went, and I don't know how to get back to it. So that was that conundrum. There's always a conundrum. But yesterday I had ran across a video put out by Mr. Len Packer. And Mr. Len Packer he's a Mormon. Let me read his little bio. He's an Len Packer is an author, an award-winning investigative reporter, television news consultant, and law consultant. Let me open this so I can finish reading the whole thing. And it says that he graduated from Utah State University in broadcast journalism. Packer served in the United States Army. Thanks for your service. Between 1968 and 70 in Vietnam, he was a television news anchor and producer for the Armed Forces Vietnam Network. He reported for KSL for 15 years. KSL is very, very Mormon in Salt Lake City, where he covered city, county, and state government. He did investigative reporting for the documentary unit and hosted a weekly talk show. I didn't know that. Packer won first place Investigative Reporting Awards from the Society of Professional Journalists, SPJ. He also works on this site, which I have in my favorites here. Oh. I got a quiet mouse too. So, I don't know. I tend to be a little more button happy with it. I guess I didn't open it. He's done some work for, here it is. Finally. Okay, let me go and, okay. I was like, where's my StreamYard tab? Thank you, Donna. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. And you do enough. I need to pay you. I can't wait till one day I can. I know y'all don't expect it, but it would be nice, you know? So thank you. Always. Someone like that, I have an instant distrust of. Uh-oh. Y'all, it was so hot. Jason just told me this before it came on, that Friday, it was so hot, or due to the heat, we have I-10 bridge, which is Calcasieu Bridge. President Trump went over it and he commented about it. And he misspelled Calcasieu, or he misspoke it. And yeah, he was like, y'all need a new bridge, basically. Well, it buckled because of the heat. And yeah, I didn't know that. I don't go anywhere. So it's crazy. It's hot out there. So y'all stay hydrated and work smarter, not harder. Thank you, Fish Face 123ism. That's so sweet. Hey, Angela. I saw you have a wet bulb event down there. Huh? What are you talking about, Low Brands? A wet bulb? What? Please elaborate. Maybe. I don't know. It's been smoky in Indiana. Are there fires going on, or what's up with that? Who is a fan of hot besides Lori? No. I've just never really been, I'm not really a winter person either. Although as I've gotten older and bigger, I've tended to like it a lot more. But I heard something too also about, and I don't really know, but something about Canadian news not being broadcasted in the United States or something because of some law. I didn't read it, but it was just like a headline. I tend to kind of mow across those things. And so what do y'all think also about, what do you think about Adam Cox and Uncle Rex? Be honest. Because I'm feeling a little torn, you know? It's made me realize a couple things. Just about how I don't get to tell anybody else how to grieve. I don't have to agree with the way people grieve, or whatever. But I just don't kind of understand the motives, I guess. It's kind of weird. And it's kind of convenient too, in my opinion. It's convenient in the sense that, where were you? Where were you as far as a voice? As far as your radio station, even, Adam, did he use his radio station or his, his career and people that he's made connections with? Did he reach out to find the kids, or did he just give up? Or I've got questions. And it just seems convenient or opportunistic. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong. Maybe I should have wrote a book and then came out with, hey, here's my book. And, I've just kind of been back here. I don't know. That's just not in my nature, I guess. This is the way I chose to do it. But just something rubs me wrong. And I can't pinpoint it. It just seems very me, very self-serving kind of ish. I do feel bad for Adam, how on Hidden True Crime, he did an interview with John and Lauren, And he he just seemed real down, you know. Um, he's also, you know, lost basically, you know, he's had a tremendous loss also. uh, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Okay. And I'm also looking for something at the same time. Somebody is mowing grass too. All kinds of things on a Sunday, on a 4th of July weekend. Jason's birthday is the 6th. He will be my favorite number, 53. So I'm also I'll go back and read your comments. I'm looking for how you would maybe know Mr. Lynn Packer. The video I came across, Mr. Lynn Packer, I've even thought about reaching out to him a couple times over the course of the past couple of years. And because I like the way he just seems to have a lot of integrity. I like that. I've even debated, I'm like, is he still Mormon? You know, because he just is very fair, in my opinion. You know, he's, because I just kind of tend to think that from just going through this, that a lot of people who were Mormon, even at one time, there's a lot of people that dismissed me, what I was saying or what I was trying to say, even in Boise. And I'm just like, whatever. You know, I don't like being hushed or shushed. You know, it's rude to me. So when people ask me what I think, and then I go to tell them, I don't shut me down, you know, because I'm just like, wait, what? Don't tell me no, that's not what it is, or just, you know what I mean? It just aggravates me. It triggers me also. I left a few times from, you know, my mom and them. There were people over, and I went to my hotel and cried because I was just like, I can't, you know, I can't. But anyways, so Lynn Packer, he's been all over Operation Underground Railroad. Okay, like he is on Tim Ballard like white on rice. And I mean, that's really where I've learned a lot of the comings and goings of Operation Underground Railroad, which is Tim Ballard, another Mormon who is connected to a lot of players in this. He is connected to, I remember hearing and I don't know where, but if I've heard it, then I don't, you know, I'm not just know that it is hearsay. It's not fact, but I remember hearing a long time ago that Melanie Pulowski either volunteered for him. I doubt she worked, you know, so volunteered for Tim Ballard, sex trafficking, to stop sex trafficking, yada, 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 his whole spiel. Something about that, I just, another thing is, I'm not sure, but I know that I have screenshots of Emma and Joseph Murray running, you know, fundraising for Operation Underground Railroad. This was, I think Tammy was there. I want to say, don't know for a fact, you know, just kind of know that. Hey DJ, good to see you. How you've been blowing me away with, oh yeah, that's another thing. Hold on. So, and Julie Rowe is connected to it. You know, she's doing the soul trafficking, which is, I don't know how you do a nonprofit organization on the trafficking of souls. How do you account for that? Blows my mind. So, let's see, Operation Underground Railroad. Make sure that I'm okay. Okay, so let me make this smaller because, okay, basically, what is the Operation Underground Railroad Jump Team? What do they do? And it says the Jump Team of Operation Underground Railroad Actress Laurie Holden, best known for her roles in the movie The X-Files and the television series The Walking Dead, is also a human rights activist and went with OUR on a recent mission to Colombia. This is their thing. This is their catch. Her job consisted mainly of helping the rescued children feel safe and relaxed. Crazy. Just don't get all excited. What do Operation Underground Railroad volunteers do? Volunteers shine light by raising funds. That's the main goal here. And awareness in the fight to end child trafficking. Our 9,000 plus OUR volunteers work hard to spread awareness throughout the United States and beyond. Their work is vital to ending human trafficking because they can reach so many families and people in their communities. Mormons help Mormons, trust me. Who rescues children from trafficking? Phantom Rescue is an elite. Oh, and Jason Mel. They shook hands. So just know Tim Ballard and Jason Mel were at a Firm Foundation Expo in 2020 for sure, and after that, shaking hands, doing their patriarchal grip. Okay, just know that. Phantom Rescue is an elite group of former law enforcement, FBI, State Department, U.S. Special Operations, and business professionals who have united with one clear objective: to eradicate child trafficking through education, outreach, and by assisting authorities with identifying the global sex trafficking industry network. Does it still exist? Of course it does. It's people pay, they're going to exist. It includes 4 buildings, 2 of which are used by Harriet Tubman. Okay. I don't know how to say that. Something County had over 30 known underground railroad stations. That's nice to know. So there's underground tunnels or safe houses and many more conductors. Nearly 2/3 of those sites still stand today. So
Hey guys, it's Chelsea here, and I'm coming to you today to introduce you to a charity that I've just recently gotten involved in. And that charity is called Operation Underground Railroad. And what they do is they address the issue of sex slavery. Not only do they talk about it, but they also go in and they actually take action and save young children from the awful reality of being sex slaves. Just to give you an idea of how prevalent of a problem this is, 2 million children are sex slaves currently throughout the world. We want to do a rescue mission. Me and you guys, my team, if we do reach $25,000, we can actually go down and save these girls from this awful reality. And in a reality where they are being raped multiple times a day, we can save them from that and give them a life where they can have freedom and happiness every day. For those who donate, we will invite you guys to come into a Google Hangout session with us, where we will basically talk about the girls that we saved and talk about that rescue mission and talk about the perpetrators that we were able to put in jail. In order to donate today, you text the word Chelsea to 71777 to make a donation of any size using your credit card or debit card. We have a case of 15 to 25 girls ready to be saved literally tomorrow. Our jump team is standing by, so please donate today. Join me, join the cause. Let's do this together. Join the jump team.
So let's not and say we did. Okay? Let's just not and say we did. Please. Donate your money wherever you want. Do whatever you want. It's just money. But it's also empowers these people to say one thing and do the other. That's a pattern that I have learned for sure in all this, and I'm there's so many examples of it. Saying one thing doesn't make you say, just because you say it doesn't make it the reality of things. It's so triggering. These people, this OUR, Operation Underground Railroad, I don't trust it. Never did. When I told y'all that I had that dream about my uncle telling me this, their deaths would cover something far more dark and far more sinister, I thought that's what I'm like, oh, that must be Operation Underground Railroad. That's pretty dark. Because I watched a lot of I did my research. I mean, as well as I could with this case simultaneously going on. Um just it just doesn't add up. There's stories where uh, reputable media sources, because I don't just get it from one place. I look around. That's what I do. And, I'm unbiased. I don't give a hell what they do, until you're just like, but that's not right. That's not right, and to be affiliated with the same people. And I say that because Tim Ballard is associated with M. Russell Ballard, he's the second in line to becoming the prophet of the Mormon Church. Okay, President Oaks is the second, and so, and he's also associated with Mitt Romney, Orrin Hatch, who was the Utah governor, I think, and what's the other guy's name? Oh my gosh. Hanging by a thread. The Constitution's hanging by a thread, dude. I can't think of it. I can never think of his name. He's somebody will think of it. I can't. Yeah, that's exactly what they do, Janet. But they don't. They don't save them. They don't. That's just it. They're creating a problem because what they're making money off of, they were under investigation, 2 investigations in 2020. Hatch, Utah U.S. Senator, and dead. Mr. Skull and Bones. Oh, wow. DJ is a wealth of knowledge on this kind of stuff. Big time. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I feel like the further and further I go into this, it's the more Twilight Zone it gets. I'm just like, where am I at anymore? Where is normal? Where's up and where's down? And I think it's designed like that. Okay. So again, I just do your research. Don't just donate because it sounds good, because it does. It sounds great if that's really what they were doing. But these nonprofit agencies, these nonprofit that's why I shied away from nonprofit organizations. I was like, because I was researching, I wanted to start a nonprofit for in honor of my family and all the victims, and I just didn't know the legalities of it. And I still don't, because I shied away from it because I was like, March of Dimes, the Ronald McDonald House, all these nonprofits, you don't know. They maybe start out good or with the right intentions, but greed, money, power, sex. It's no one is immune to it, nobody. So I'm like, there's got to be something different. There's got to be a better way or something else that I can indulge in and, create, build up to honor their legacies. There's got to be, because not everybody is crooked. Not everybody has sinister or nefarious motive, but a lot of people do. So, that's awesome. Really, it scared me. I was like, oh, hell no. That's what I'm saying. I know people do it and they do it well, but just like everything else in life, you just can't go all extremo, you can't get greedy. So, and it takes money to make money. I don't care who you are. That's business. That's how I was raised. My mama taught me that. Nothing's for free. And, just do the best we can with what we got. Try to build it and make it better. I didn't know how that worked. I still don't. And I do need to start really thinking about that, really leaning into that. I feel like I'm not done with it yet. Like I'm not through this yet, but yet everything kind of just, once Lori, her trial was adjudicated, so to speak, everybody just kind of went away. And I mean, I say everybody, or the interest, or maybe I just see it as that. Hell, I don't know. I think there's so many things to learn just from the like-minded people mentality. These people, like-minded, we're like-minded people, you know. So that doesn't make a people bad. And not every person in that group is bad, you know. It just sometimes it's like the priorities just aren't set straight. There's a blurred line. Anyways, so let me get back over there to this, and let me see. So they're coming. They just came out, or it might be coming out now. I'm not sure.
The stats coming from the U.S. Like, wow. Yeah. I mean, the United States, we're in the top 3 for destination countries for human trafficking. We generally, year after year, produce more child exploitation material and consume more than any other country. So you start recognizing, wow, things aren't as stable at home as I kind of thought. Hey guys, Tim Ballard here. This is In the Trenches. These are the stories of Operation Underground Railroad, our successes, our challenges, our operations. And if you want to donate to make sure that we can continue to make these stories by doing real rescue operations, please go to OURrescue.org and help us out. Thanks so much. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of In the Trenches, where we take you inside the trenches of operations, law enforcement, aftercare, everything we do here at Operation Underground Railroad. I have a really important guest here, one of my favorite people in the world, JC Holt, who runs our domestic projects. But that's not how you entered OUR initially. Tell us your experience. How did you learn about OUR? How did you get involved, and what did you do?
I learned about OUR several years ago when I was a police officer. I had a buddy who was a friend of yours or an associate, and he was telling me about what you were doing. And I thought, well, that's noble. You know, I'm glad that there are people that are out there doing that. And I didn't think that I was going to be one of them, to be honest with you. And I had some experience in training undercover and doing undercover work. And so I actually.
Okay, so I just kind of wanted you to kind of see that for a second. And now we're going to go over to allegedly. So, I mean, that's all it is a big, gigantic fundraiser. But there's, by ye fruits, ye shall know. And ye fruits are not good. That's all I'm saying. I'm looking for, oh, there it is. With the big, no, that's not it. I just had it. And then I had to come back to pause the damn video. Okay. No. Okay, there it is. American Crime Journal. That is the tab, the media source I was trying to tell you about earlier. Okay. Hours, Hookers from Heaven. This is written by Lynn Packer. Okay. So it's a Utah-based operation, Underground Railroad, a nonprofit focused on allegedly rescuing child sex slaves worldwide. Shifted gears almost 2.5 years ago and executed a purported rescue of 10 adult Venezuelan slaves from a brothel in Haiti. A brothel. On November 29th last year, 2022, OUR streamed an 1.5-hour long YouTube documentary on a raid that OUR President Tim Ballard claims was guided by God. God complex. The video was part of a Giving Tuesday fundraiser. This report fact checks Ballard's contention, and that is all Lynn Packer does. He fact checks the hell out of him. I'm telling you that. He's thorough. That the sex workers had all been drugged, kidnapped, smuggled into Haiti, and forced into prostitution. Isn't that what they were doing already? That right there. Okay, then raped 5 to 10 times. Oh, I said the R word. My bad. Sorry. Then whatever, 5 to 10 times a day. Then, after being freed, were taken to the White House to meet President Donald Trump. I don't want to get political, just let's listen to the story. The women, mostly mothers who left their families behind in Venezuela, that's weird, were supposedly held against their will in a jail cell and locked up each night with a padlock. A shackle that became a big part of OUR's rescue story. A story that turns out to be pure propaganda. And so he just busts, to put it in a frank way, he busts his balls is what he does. Lynn Packer busts this dude's balls all the time. And they just dropped the lawsuits. I mean the investigations. Why? One wants to know why. And the church did step in. So I want to go, that's what kind of sparked me into this direction. That's how it rolls. That's how I roll. I just kind of, I'm like, oh, okay, where to? I just kind of, it's my guide. I just kind of go roll with the punches. But, so let's watch this, allegedly.
Damian Moore here with American Crime Journal. Today's episode is the first in a series in which we unpack and break down Lynn Packer's most recent report, in which he uncovers alleged crimes committed by Operation Underground Railroad, its CEO and founder Tim Ballard, and Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes. Now, this first episode, we are going to be covering the whiteboard meeting. It is where Tim Ballard held a clandestine meeting in August of 2019, where he summons his most trusted associates in Operation Underground Railroad, in which he brought out a whiteboard that has become the center of the Davis County District Attorney's criminal investigation into Operation Underground Railroad, Tim Ballard, and Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes. Since Lynn Packer's video and ACJ's subsequent articles went public, there has been some interesting developments. Tim Ballard learned that the whiteboard meeting was going to be exposed by Lynn Packer. He immediately sent down a pipeline to make sure that it got to Mr. Packer and myself, that if there's any mention of this whiteboard meeting, there would be hell to pay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've been muted. I hit the damn button anyway. Told you I'm button happy today. But I have to talk every so often just to kind of, so I don't get flagged by YouTube. They've got a lot of music in here, that's for sure. So hopefully it'll let me monetize the video. If not, it was fun. It was fun, but it wasn't real fun. Okay, so let me try and get back to where we were. The Sean Reyes, okay, that's the Utah governor. And I watched the Skinwalker Ranch, right? And so he like took part in that documentary, which was weird. It's weird. It's just very self-promoting. I don't know. Utah politics suck. That's all I'm saying. I'm just like, holy hell. It's corrupt, in my opinion. I don't know how they do it. And so what I'm trying to say is that the more and more I dig through all this and the more I watch about it, the more I learn that that these people are very much interconnected with Chad and Lori. Okay. And so you have David Levitt, who is the Utah attorney. I want to say he was a prosecutor that is accused of, and it's amazing because there's not many stories out there. They get scrubbed so often, just as they did with Chad and Lori's. Everybody affiliated with Chad and Lori, scrub, done, gone. 404 is something that I wish the trial was held in courtroom 403. I was like, well, it would have just made sense if it was in 404. Anyways, so there, Utah County Prosecutor David Levitt, who I'm sure there's somebody here in the chat or who will watch this video later who may know with the genealogy records and everything if David Levitt is in fact related to Keith Levitt. Keith Levitt is MC, Keith and Suzanne Levitt, and they were named by Melanie Gibb as being on the property the day that the realtor went to show David. And David Warwick gave us that testimony of he went and looked at an invisible church. So anyway, smells like shit. All right. It smells like some poo. Anyways, and so they all protect each other. Know that. The common denominator, in my opinion, is the church. That's exactly where my eyes focus. Because I'm just like, what is causing this? What is pumping this out? Who does this? It's a big club, basically. It's the good old boys club. Not found. Right. It's just it stinks. And birds of a feather flock together. Right. I believe that. I'm a firm believer in that, and so you have all these people surrounding Chad and Lori, and they're shitty people, in my opinion. None of them. I don't trust not a one of them. None. Nobody did the right thing. Nobody has integrity. Nobody has a damn heart. And nobody in that group knows religious. I don't know what their religion really is. I really don't. Corporate Jesus. So, but even a moral compass, they don't possess it. And so Keith Levitt, I wonder if he's related to David Levitt. I wonder. I really want to know. I need to, write a note and actually do my own research. But anyways, I've talked enough on that one. Let me go ahead and turn it back on. Sean Reyes. I'll remember.
Now, this first episode, we are going to be covering the whiteboard meeting. It was an investigation into Operation Underground Railroad, Tim Ballard, and Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes. Since Lynn Packer's video and ACJ's subsequent articles went public, there has been some interesting developments. Tim Ballard learned that the whiteboard meeting was going to be exposed by Lynn Packer. He immediately sent down a pipeline to make sure that it got to Mr. Packer and myself, that if there's any mention of this whiteboard meeting, there would be hell to pay. Now, unfortunately for Mr. Ballard, we had already published not only Lynn Packer's video and the report, but my articles as well. But Tim Ballard did not only know that ACJ and Lynn Packer was going to be reporting this and taking it public. Tim Ballard learned for the first time that the Davis County District Attorney's criminal investigation included the meeting that occurred in August of 2019. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a major game changer. Should any portion of this whiteboard meeting be true, Tim Ballard is no longer looking at just a couple fraud charges that he can sprinkle some money on and make it go away. We are now talking about a criminal conspiracy, along with money laundering, racketeering, obstruction of justice, mail fraud, wire fraud, all sorts of fraud. No telling how many fraud cases could be brought against him. But much worse, it would introduce now federal investigation and charges, not only from like the FBI, but now from the IRS for tax evasion. Now, how did Ballard learn about Lynn Packer getting ready to report the whiteboard meeting? Well, folks, it's simple. Shortly before publication, Lynn Packer had sent out questions to OUR's attorney, Kurt McConkie, as well as Emily Evans, Tim Ballard's sister, who is also the public relations officer of Operation Underground Railroad, and asked them if they would like to comment on the meeting held in August of 2019. And Lynn Packer called it the whiteboard meeting because it was at that meeting that Tim Ballard had presented the plan, the master plan for Operation Underground Railroad and several other of his nonprofits and how money would be getting moved around. And several of those in attendance were absolutely stunned and disgusted by this master plan. And this ultimately would lead to the breakup between OUR's main financer, millionaire Paul Hutchinson, as well as OUR ops team leader David Lopez. Here's Lynn Packer with the story.
First, Ballard's secret plan. He unveiled it at a clandestine meeting in August 2019. It was a plan so secret that he asked the 10 or so people attending to sign confidentiality agreements. But now, 16 months later, at least one attendee turned a diagram of the plan over to Davis County investigators. They're conducting a criminal investigation into Operation Underground Railroad, its CEO Tim Ballard, and Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes. I reconstructed the chart from a diagram Ballard drew on a whiteboard during the meeting. The drawing shows multiple Ballard-controlled for-profit and nonprofit entities, several paths for money to flow to Tim Ballard's main for-profit company, how OUR would bring more converts into the Mormon faith, a deeper involvement by the LDS Church's presiding apostle M. Russell Ballard than I had previously reported in Op-Ed 6, and OUR's takeover of an orphanage in Haiti in an apparent attempt to monetize adoptions. Ballard wanted to make millions. His nonprofit, Operation Underground Railroad, has millions of dollars in the bank. But he cannot simply write checks to himself at the risk of losing tax-exempt status. He had already taken his annual salary above $300,000 in 2018 before backing off that approach. One solution: surround that nonprofit with other nonprofits and for-profits in a complex labyrinth of entities where money would eventually flow into his personal bank account. A bonus, the same publicity sizzle, that is what he called sizzle on his chart, that generates donations and profits, could bring masses of people into the Mormon Church.
God dang it. Now? How about now? Can you hear me now? It's very suspicious, right? Thank you. I don't know. One day I'll get this right. I wish you could do it while you're not in the thing. But anyway, so yeah, it's suspect as hell. And I mean, there's more to this story than just Chad and Lori. There's more to this nonprofit organization than just wanting to help kids. And I mean, these are other countries, okay? These are less fortunate children and countries that are getting taken advantage of, even more. It's heart-wrenching to me. An NDA, yeah. Well, yeah. Hey, smart guys, an NDA is invalid when illegal activity is involved. Whoopsie. That's good to know. I did not know that. I didn't know that. Of course, I've never researched it, but thank you for that. It's just these guys, these attitudes, it's the like-minded behaviors. I've studied it. I've watched it. I've picked up what they are putting down. Patterns, as Uncle Rex and Adam say. Right. Anyways, these patterns, and everybody has them. Everybody has patterns. Everybody has a routine. Everybody, do things. But just, it kind of makes me think, and I mean, this is just me throwing it out there. You know how Melanie Pulaski, all the allegations against Brandon and his family, how she said that his family was involved in sex trafficking and the gay meter. Okay. The other video I'm going to show y'all, it talks about the damn gay meter, or basically 90% to 10%, and casting out these demons. And it's just so, it stands out like a damn sore thumb. I'm just like, oh yeah, you can't hide your crazy anymore, church. You reap what you sow. And I don't feel bad for doing what I'm doing. I don't. It's just, it goes. And so then I automatically go to how Judge Boyce is, basically defining who he deems, who's worthy enough, who's worthy to be a victim, to make a victim impact statement, basically. And so he may not be Mormon now, but he is very much part of a high number, a high population of LDS like-minded people. So it really sucks. And I don't know. I'm just like, screw the man, but no, and not do it under the guise of religion. That's the gross part. That to me is a slap in the damn face, because we can sit here and debate who's Jesus and Mormon Jesus and we can do all that, or just go after the fact, or point to the facts of the behaviors, what people are doing, hiding behind the guise of religion, to screw people over, to take advantage of them, to exploit them. It's gross. It's so gross. Oh, thanks, Rose. You are too. We're all here together. This is not, there's no team, there's no I in team. And it is, I believe that too, sit and spin. It is the Bible. Well, I don't want to stoke any fires. Lord knows I have got so many controversial things to talk about. I got to pick my battles. It's a man-made book, but again, it's really gross. And I mean, I don't know why I didn't see these things before. Again, I was walking through life with just popping bubbles and stuff like dee, and I don't know, this grabbed me, and I can't look away. And yeah, DJ, I actually have talked to her Galactic Storyteller is a YouTube channel that I ran across a while back, a couple years, a year or so ago. And she wanted to meet tonight, but I had my live stream to do. And she wanted to know more about Chad and Lori and the Second Anointing. She used to be Mormon. And I like her channel. Y'all go subscribe to her. She's very matter of fact, and I like the way she explains things. She's part of my journey, of learning and just watching, listening, reading, consuming, all this stuff. But we're truthers, we're realists. We just want to know the truth, and you're just like, Galactic Storyteller. I haven't formally met her yet, but again, she's got her own YouTube channel, Galactic Storyteller, and I really don't know much background on her, not to speak to, but I will be doing, I guess, what do you call not an interview, but we'll be talking, and so whenever I do that, then I'll let you guys know, and then hopefully you can, watch too. I don't know. Yeah, so I was surprised that, she's the first person that reached out that, outside of just the regular YouTube creators that true crime, this genre or whatever, that wants to know more about the Second Anointing and Chad and Lori. And my theory on that, it's just a theory, I don't know. And will I ever know? Probably not. But it just matches. It's hard to refute it. But anyways, let me stop talking too much. But thank you, DJ. Appreciate that. Now let me try and mute myself and play some more.
It was his Capitalism Begets Church Converts plan. At the top of the diagram, Slave Stealers LLC with 3 partners, Brian Norton, Tim Ballard, and LDS Apostle Russell Ballard as a silent partner. An outside nonprofit run by former OUR operative Paul Hutchinson was envisioned to donate to multiple entities. Ballard's use of the word sizzle was taken to mean that the nonprofits would attract donors by way of dynamic humanitarian missions, such as rescuing child sex slaves. Money would end up in Ballard's own company that would make more money with a new movie, his speaking engagements, upcoming books, and some of that would go back to Slave Stealers LLC. In this episode, I'll focus on 3 entities shown on the chart: Slave Stealers, the Haiti Orphanage, and Children Need Families Foundation. OUR appears to have taken at least partial control of a Haitian orphanage that has been mismanaged by Gesno Marty. More about that in a few minutes. The second whiteboard entity I'll put under the microscope is one Tim Ballard and his wife Catherine formed. They installed Janet Russin from Utah County as its director. Even though they called it a nonprofit, it has not been registered with the IRS. I'll begin with a look at the for-profit entity at the top of Ballard's whiteboard sketch, Slave Stealers LLC. He claimed the Mormon Church's top apostle, Russell Ballard, is a silent partner. Video op-ed 6 dealt with the covenant controversy and Russell Ballard's support of Tim Ballard's Slave Stealer book. Here Russell Ballard is pictured with Glenn Beck and Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard at the whiteboard meeting implied that Russell Ballard also has a financial interest in the book's spin-off, a proposed television series, also called Slave Stealers. Slave Stealers has a Farmington, Utah office address. It's the business address for Brad Brower, Russell Ballard's son-in-law. Brower and Russell Ballard declined interviews. Melissa Ballard, Russell Ballard's daughter-in-law, is a state representative. She's seen here on the right with her husband, Craig, and Jessica Mass, OUR's aftercare director, at a fundraiser event. She plugged OUR on her website by passing along Ballard's unproven and false fundraising pitches. She wrote, "Amazing night for Operation Underground Railroad. In just 5 years, they went from saving 260 kids in a year to more than 1,200 kids this year from slavery." The most stunning statistic tonight: 2 million African slaves were taken over 400 years. Today, there are more than 40 million slaves. Slave Stealers, an existing book and a planned TV series. According to a press release, the proposed series designed to cast a light on slavery, past and present, is currently in development. Says Emmy-winning Nick Nanton is producing alongside Brian Norton and Ballard through their Stowaway Productions and Eighth Wonder Entertainment. And it says Ballard's Operation Underground Railroad, the nonprofit set up to combat human trafficking, is also involved. There are 2 slave stealers related entities not on Ballard's chart. One is 11th Street Films, LLC, and Stowaway Productions, LLC. Both are registered by Tim Ballard and associated with Nick Nanton, who directed the movie Operation Toussaint. What is not clear, where is the financing coming from? And when will production begin, if ever? Slave Stealers is also connected to Ballard's very recently released Sound of Freedom movie. The release of that movie had already been delayed by more than 2 years. It looks like no theater chain or streaming service like Netflix wanted it. Now its March 2021 release is by a small obscure streaming outlet and advertised for free and can be accessed via YouTube. Slave Stealers partner Brian Norton is also involved with 2 OUR-related St. George area firearms training centers, Fort Pierce Tactical Ranch and Salvo LLC.
Okay, making sure you can hear me first. But, okay, I think that the Steelers thing, because in this new report, they are like allegedly going in partners with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if that, I know it's spelled Steal, but I mean, I'm just saying, I just want to know where that's being set up. I want to know how it's going. Hey, Ashley, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm Catholic. I'm not familiar with, yeah, Slave Stealers. Oh, then Underground Railroad isn't that bad. What the actual F, right? Right. I just learned that too, Lee. I just learned this about the Smurfs, okay? I used to love la, 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 la. I grew up to this cartoon. And then I was like, oh, crap, okay. Then you're like, yeah, Gargamel. And okay, I see. It's so crazy how we're all influenced by these things that are just good childhood memories. And then you're like, oh, shit. Just like the Disney movies, you're like, I don't even watch them, but Puss in Boots, with his little catnip. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, it makes sense now. But anyways, so this one's almost over. Hopefully, yeah. It's interesting as hell. I just want to make sure y'all are okay and not bored. I'll shut up now.
Norton is also rumored to be paying Ballard $900,000 a year for his piece of the whiteboard pie. Next up on Ballard's whiteboard chart, the purported nonprofit entity Children Need Families, founded by Tim Ballard's wife, Catherine, and headed by Janet Russin. CNF's business address is Janet Russin's home in Provo. Russin is the foundation's executive director. Board members are Tim Ballard, Catherine Ballard, and Tevye Ware, Catherine's sister. Ware is also OUR CFO and is paid about $100,000 a year. Although CNF claims to be a nonprofit, it is not registered with the IRS or Utah as required of nonprofits. It apparently provides donor tax deductions through OUR. In any event, there are no annual IRS reports. That severely limits what donors and taxpayers know about the entity that Tim Ballard put on his whiteboard chart along with the word sizzle. Brent Andrewson, OUR's nonprofit attorney, declined explaining if an entity can claim to be a nonprofit and solicit donations without being registered with the IRS. CNF is not Russon's first OUR-related charity involvement. Her now defunct Little Fish Foundation once raised money for Gasno Marty's orphanage in Haiti. Her charity is not registered with the IRS, but she may have paid taxes, and donors might not have claimed tax deductions, so it may have been legal. It appears she did continue operating the charity after its Utah's corporate registration expired 8 years ago. Russon has a lot of OUR-related Facebook.
I have to comment back to what Lee here just said, about imagine handing, and y'all know, I know, or I'm learning, I learned, I bought a couple 23andMe kits, right before my uncle was murdered. So this is, and I just hadn't gotten around to them. Me and Jason were going to take them and see. And then all this happened, Mormon and murder happened. And then I started learning more and more and more. And then they see the baptism of the dead thing, the whole, and they don't care who you are. They have baptized Anne Frank, who was Jewish. Okay. And anyways, there's no respect at all. And those are boundaries that you don't cross. It's just like with Chad and Lori, but I really don't think it was Chad and Lori. I think it goes way higher, if you know what I'm saying. I don't think, anyways, we won't go into that, but basically they exploited my family, my lineage. I'm pissed off about that. It bothers me. Okay, it bothers me. They have records and they store them in a freaking, I'm not making this up. They store them in a mountain in the cavity of a rock. And I don't know what the hell they do with them. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they plan to do with them. I don't know why. It's like data mining or something. I don't know. I don't know what they want. I just know it's no bueno. It's not good. By ye fruit ye shall know. And I don't like it. And how they rated my family, deemed who was dark, who was going to live, who was going to die, who's on their hit list, right? No matter what their reasoning is, they still did that with my family lineage, and it pisses me off. It really does. So that bothers me. But Lee just brought this up. Imagine handing your DNA over to these people. So strange for them to have shares in it, as it proves them wrong regarding Jesus flying over to play hide the sausage with the natives. I didn't read that part. I always read the front parts of them, and then I'm like, oh God. Anyways, we say hide the boudin because we have boudin here. Okay. Anyways, right, Ashley Tomasi, she's in here. We're from Lake Charles. Anyways, so we're all grown people. Oh my God, Jess! Holy shit! I'm about to fall out my chair. Oh my God. Hold on. Oh God. Dang, thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Huh. That means so much. Oh my God. Sorry that I can't give you a whole lot like before. What? Are you serious? Thank you for your very generous, I like to say, investment. Thank you. Natalie Huber says Market Basket is the best, though. They have the smoked boudin. So you can play hide the smoked boudin. Oh my God. Thank you, Jess. So generous, and just thank you. It means a lot. Okay, I gotta move on because I'll sit here and be all sappy and stuff, and like I'm doing now. Anyways, forgot what I was talking about. But the whole genealogy thing, to me, it's exploitation. It's exploitation. Whatever they're doing with it, I don't like it. It's against I didn't approve of that. So anybody wants the 23andMe kits? No, I'm going to burn them. I still have them, never used them because I was like, oh, hell no, they're not getting my DNA too. They are not going to exploit that. Whatever they're doing with it, it's not good. It's trickery. Is boudin spicy? It can be. You don't want to hide that boudin. Right? All right. I'm sorry. We're all adults here, allegedly, hopefully. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Jess is awesome. Thank you so much. So, let me stop saying, let me play that shit.
But friends. Reason 4, OUR ousted its main financial and operational supporter, millionaire Paul Hutchinson. Before the falling out, he would pop up everywhere in connection with OUR events and missions. Here he is with Sean Reyes, again with Reyes. Here Reyes gives him a child sex trafficking award. Here he is with Tony Robbins, another millionaire OUR rainmaker. And in 2018, when Hutchinson and Ballard were on better terms, they appeared together at a gala at Universal Studios Hollywood.
I'll just put it this way. I had a little thing on my wall when I was a kid. It had a bunch of Ferraris, Lamborghinis. It said, "He who has the most toys wins." Oh. Now my quote is, "He who has a powerful, positive impact in the most lives wins." In fact, I want to introduce you to somebody. I'm the co-founder of Child Liberation Foundation. It focuses on helping eradicate child slavery worldwide. And I know it's a dark subject, but some of the guys that I'm going to introduce you to are guys who have physically gone in and pulled out children from the darkest places on earth who were abducted. And so Tim Ballard was CIA and then Homeland Security for 14 years over child trafficking, and has made us in
that bothers me too. That's something, the pattern thing, right? Is the whole Homeland Security thing. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying everything is corrupt everywhere. Not all of it, but just there's corruption everywhere. Backdoor deals, all these buddy systems, and look at how these people get out of things. Look at how, just Googling things like Chad's name, when I put into my Canva app, which is Australian owned, I did my research because I'm like, well, who owns it? Because Google, the church has a lot of shares in Google and Amazon and Apple and IBM, some other things, and Tesla, and so you just kind of look at where they're stockpiling their money, why they're come to the second coming of Jesus Christ, saving it for a rainy day, yet why aren't they helping people? There's a small percentage that actually goes to help people. So it's very disturbing on many levels, even many devils. It's very gross. It's gross, y'all know. But the whole Homeland Security thing, there's that, if y'all remember that that case that came out not long ago, which gave me a segue to this, I guess to share my theory on like how Lori was in the mental institution, yet we find out that she's watching Chad Daybell's hearing on YouTube. I hope she would watch it on this channel. If I knew that, oh my God. Right. But anyways, that was October 5th of 2021. She allegedly watched Chad Daybell's hearing on YouTube. I guess Judge Boyce's channel, because he's so nice. And she got pissed off for whatever reason. Or no, I lie. I take that back. She was assigned homework, allegedly. And so I don't know how. I don't know how. I just know it stinks. I really don't think that she was, she's mental. All right. Lori is mental as the day is long. However, she's not that kind of crazy. She's not that kind of mental. I don't put it past these people because of how dirty they are, in my opinion. I don't put it past them to not have that already set up. Hey, either it happened and she actually called and she was directed by her mental health technician. Yeah, that's a very good point, Rose. I'm sorry. So assign the homework so that Lori would have to call. And so they give her the LDS helpline number. That's what I think. This is my theory. It's my conspiracy. Okay. Where's the tinfoil hat? Anyways. I mean, who's to say? How are we would never know because it's protected by by HIPAA, which it should be. But it just stunk. It stinks. It just stinks. These people go to all these different extremes to cover up the shit that they are producing. And I mean, it's plain and simple. So when that story came out about that little girl named MJ, that's her initials, in Arizona, that her dad, Paul, forget his Adams, he worked for, what did they just say? Oh my God, whatever. What the hell? What's it called?
In my opinion,
I can't think right now. What's it called?
Tim Ballard was he was CIA and then Homeland Security for 14 years over child.
That one, Homeland Security. My bad. There's just so these people cover up, and I mean, so that's your first line of defense at the border, at this border, Mexico and United States, and who knows what's really going on. It just seems really convenient, opportunistic. Again, seems to be the pattern, in my opinion. It's almost over. I'll shut up.
Child trafficking, and has made us, in my opinion, more than anybody else I have ever known of, in terms of creating awareness and a real positive change to something that is such a dark subject.
Hutchinson believes Ballard makes up a lot of OUR's achievements. He's now setting up a rival child rescue organization. He says Ballard has a savior complex, perhaps seeing himself as a reincarnated Joseph Smith. Dave Lopez, who is an OUR ops team leader and who is thought to be a Hutchinson ally, is also gone. Early in OUR's life, he appeared with Ballard on Glenn Beck's broadcast, and here he's seen with Ballard and former NFL star and OUR booster Steve Young. Lopez, a former Navy SEAL, led multiple OUR operations.
Steve Young, y'all, Chad wrote about him. Or he wrote one of Chad's books. Chad wrote one of his books. Steve Young, right? Am I right? Let me know. I really do think so. Was he the one on the Trace? Don't pick on me, Trace. It's our conspiracy, okay? I'll share it. Oh man. Rumpel says, well, many celebrities were killed when they tried to publish information about the conglomerate. Yeah. Yeah, something that I won't be able to say because YouTube. It's all them keywords, and it just is not so kindly. It's not so kind on the subject matter jurisdiction. I'm sorry. I always think of Daryl Brooks. The subject matter that I have to cover or that I need to cover, Yes. Yeah. Right. And it sucks. That's what I'm saying. It's hiding behind a guise. It's for protection. I've heard this so many times over different channels when I was learning, and I'm still learning always, how they call it fire protection. Tithing is fire protection. So, you're just like, okay, why? What you need all this protection? Why are you summoning and calling on Jesus to do so? So that doesn't, it's not a far fetch when I hear of all these stories. And I think about Tylee and JJ and how they were treated, how everything is just so suspicious around, even still, even more, if in my opinion. Basically, they read the FOIA docs into record. Basically, I learned a very few little new things, and I'm like, well, maybe they're saving it for Chad's, but then once that's over, then okay, well, then what? How many people are going to protect this church? It's very self-serving. It's like, it's brainwashing, in my opinion, to the nth degree. A lot of people don't even know that they're even protecting the church. It's just built into them. It's just beat into their heads. And, I didn't see that right away, but just, you have that gut feeling, right? And I've been digging ever since, so I can't stop. Was it Steve Young? That's only if you're worthy, though, Rose. You have to be worthy to go into the temple. That's a whole nother issue. It doesn't make sense. These big old temples for what? Rituals? Did you pass my family through there? Did you kill them there? Just asking. It felt good to ask. Is that the crime scene? In my opinion, just asking. Okay, I'll shut up. One wants to know. But anyways, let me go ahead. If that's the same Steve Young, then again, Tim Ballard speaks at oh my God, I suck at this. The Firm Expo, preparing people, all these the conferences and stuff. Book of Mormon evidence, Rod Meldrum, Sean Little Bear. I don't trust him. It gets worse and worse for me. I will get to a point where I'll be able to share exactly what I think Sean Little Bear, his role in this. It's so gross. And these people are they're okay with doing their little extravaganzas, as KJ and the Ray says, right? They go on these media pressers, and they divert. That's their job. Whether they know it or not, they are diverting from the truth. And that pisses me off. It pisses me off because there are 2 dead children, unsuspecting murdered spouses. One that just, Brandon, he lived, thank God. But if it were up to them, and that's their own kind, right? DJ Norman has told me before that Mormons will kill Mormons. And I'm just like, my mom's on the hit list. She's not Mormon. It bothers me. It's not resolved, in my opinion.
Lopez, a former Navy SEAL, led multiple OUR operations in Haiti. He left OUR, maybe cooperating with the criminal probe, and he's now sales director for Hutchinson's ATEC Defense Systems. And besides, is developing a claimed multi-billion-dollar resort on an island off Haiti. Lopez's proposed resort would be on Île-à-Vache Island off Haiti. He claims this project is going to revitalize the tourism industry of Haiti and stimulate the local economy in a massive way. On top of that, a huge percentage of the profits will be allocated to fight human trafficking in Haiti. However, Tim Ballard is said to have wanted his cut. Ballard purportedly said, "The fact that you got those relationships through OUR, you need to give me 50% of your ownership in that entire company. This is what God wants."
Oh my God, this is not, my God, don't want this. But anyways, they make it bad. They make it work. Oh my God. It's troubling to me. It bothers me. That, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get it. Um, I'm looking for that video. I was looking up Senator Mike Lee. He's Utah. He's also been a speaker. I have screenshots of him at a whenever the annotated Book of Mormon came out that Rod Meldrum and David Hawking co-wrote, whatever. I mean, all they're doing is just recopying lies, in my opinion. Just, I don't know, opportunist. But I saw a picture of Mike Lee at a Preparing People / Firm Expo, and I don't know. It bothers me. It rubs me the wrong way. So here is this. This is what I watched yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, just things started clicking together for me. We'll go into it.
I'm Lynn Packer with OUR Video Op-Ed 23, the Utah County investigation into a suspected satanic child sex abuse ring. One of the suspects is New York.
I'm sorry. I forgot to do a trigger warning. Please. This is a trigger warning. This is highly controversial. It's there's a lot of adult language. Speaking of. Anyways, so just, you know where you're at in your headspace. You know what's good for you. Self-care is so important. But this is going to talk heavily about that. I mean, look at the title. Okay. So, I mean, it's so hard to talk about, so this is kind of my segue of how to talk about it. Have somebody else talk about it. It's crazy.
Madison Avenue advertising executive, Gordon Bowen. Two of Bowen's close friends who are not suspects, Utah Senator Mitt Romney and high-ranking Mormon apostle M. Russell Ballard. Even though Russell Ballard and Mitt Romney are not suspected of involvement in or knowledge of any ritualistic child sex cult, if one existed at all, both have known for more than a decade that Bowen was accused of having bizarre sexual fantasies, of being addicted to pornography, and of alleged sexual assaults. Later in this episode, possible reasons why they looked the other way. It remains puzzling why Russell Ballard and the LDS Church continued to engage Bowen in its public image campaigns. A recent example of the continuing Bowen-Ballard alliance is a multi-million-dollar movie about Jesus. Ballard and the Mormon Church entrusted Bowen to oversee the project despite Bowen's weird, even eerie notions about the Savior. The completed film is yet to be released. The project remains clouded in secrecy. A little more detail about the movie near the end of this report. Russell Ballard, who is now second in line to assume the presidency of the LDS Church, is a common denominator between the relatively new child sex abuse investigation in Utah County and the more than 2-year-old investigation in Davis County looking into Operation Underground Railroad. Ballard is close to the subjects of both probes. In a previous episode, I already reported that Russell Ballard not only encouraged Tim Ballard to found OUR, but along with 2 other general authorities of the church, also invested in the Tim Ballard venture. This side note, unlike the late Senator Orrin Hatch and current Senator Mike Lee, Mitt Romney has not publicly endorsed OUR. In fact, Tim Ballard has been talked about as a potential candidate to run against Romney in 2 years. If a ritualistic child sex ring was operating in Utah, where was Tim Ballard? Was it going on right under his nose? OUR claims it detects and breaks up child sex trafficking
Sorry. I'll get it. Okay. Who are you sticking out your tongue to? Oh, just these people. That's what I'm reacting to. I can't, my face is horrible. I throw gang signs with it. Oh, that was Lynn Packer throwing a joke right there. He reminds me of my Pawpaw Vallow. How my Pawpaw had just really dry humor. Okay.
Huh? If a ritualistic child sex ring was operating in Utah, where was Tim Ballard? Was it going on right under his nose? OUR claims it detects and breaks up child sex trafficking rings. It says it's happening here. Before I proceed, 2 disclaimers. This report is for mature viewers only. It contains adult themes and sexually explicit content. Also, in 2008, I consulted on a child custody dispute involving Gordon Bowen. When the case settled out of court, I was asked to sign a non-disclosure confidentiality agreement. I declined. That's how sealed records from the case help document this report. The Utah County-based child sex abuse investigation made headlines this summer and fall. Some news outlets called it alleged satanic child sex abuse and a ritualistic sex ring. NBC News reported that the Utah County case is based on a false conspiracy theory, saying satanic panic is making a comeback, fueled by QAnon believers and GOP influencers. Went on to say, baseless accusations are branding people as Satanist pedophiles at the speed of the internet.
These allegations are wild. They are very unlikely to be true. And unfortunately, what happened was people got them in public records requests and spilled them all over the internet. And so it's not just enough that something terrible happens. It's that Satan is somehow involved in it.
So, let me make sure y'all can hear me. That right there, I caught it earlier when I was listening to it again. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. What she just said, so because it was spilled out in FOIA docs and public requests, that's the bad thing, or the bad thing is that it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's listen to her again. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right.
They are very. These allegations are wild. They are very unlikely to be true. And unfortunately, what happened was people got them in public records requests.
So they're in public records? That's interesting to me, because if they're in public records, there's got to be some victims. There's more to the story. And I don't like her argument. I don't know. Rubs me wrong.
Was Satanist pedophiles at the speed of the internet.
These allegations are wild. They are very unlikely to be true. And unfortunately, what happened was people got them in public records requests and spilled them all over the internet. And so it's not just enough that something terrible happens. It's that Satan is somehow involved in it.
Well, it's not good people, that's for sure. Whether it's Satan was there or not, who am I to say? That's just, I think about Tyler and JJ. You can't unsee it. You can't. I can't unknow it. Then I'm doing a disservice to them. Not just those 2 victims out of the however many. It's a disservice to all victims, So what is the disservice here? What is so bad with this? What she's saying is she's answering a question that nobody asked, Anyways, that's just me.
Of more than a dozen names in the victim statements, 2 have been reported by mainstream media. David Levitt, the Utah County attorney who called a June 1st press conference, revealing that his name appears in witness statements, and David Hamlin, a therapist whose license had been revoked, who was arrested September 30th. More suspect names have yet to be disclosed by major news media. Gordon Bowen is one among many accused of involvement in the alleged child sex trafficking ring. His name is in the witness statements document. That testimony was compiled by the Provo City Police Department years ago, before it dropped the case. The report now guides the revived Utah County Sheriff's Office investigation, which picked up where Provo PD left off. Here's one of multiple statements about Bowen's alleged involvement. Gordon made us undress, and he did a huge variety of things to us, including tortured, raped, sodomized, whipped, chained, and urinated on us, and made us do the same things to ourselves and each other. It goes on to say, he is or was extremely wealthy and worked or had worked high up for Coca-Cola. He lived in a huge mansion in the avenues of Salt Lake City. Gordon is a very, very powerful and revered man in the church, if he has retained the position he had 14 years ago. He was the Punisher, and we were told he oversaw torture and murder for Master Mahon and the high councils.
That right there, the Punisher thing with these roles. Okay, so Alex was the executor. I don't understand all this aspect of it, but y'all remember Little Red? Hey, Jean Marie, it's good to see you. Glad you're here. And Justice Jane and Rumpelstiltskin, I like that. But yeah, true, Jay. I mean, wow, it's somehow worse to leak the truth, God forbid, than the atrocities that happen. Don't you dare get any of that truth, You can't have none of that. It's just weird. I don't know. Things just sometimes don't make sense. And I'm just like, what is their end? Why would they do that? Or people blame other people for whatever. And you're just like, but what would be their point? Or I don't know. Everybody has an end game. How I see one thing, how I see something is not at all how you may see it. That's okay. That's diversity. It is a-okay. You don't have to be a particular political party. You don't have to be, just be you. That's all you got to do. Just be the best you. And try to treat others as you want to be treated. And especially with your children in the world. There's so many. Where there's children, there's predators. Okay? It's not Satan. Okay? I just think it's another way of exploiting. I believe in God. I know not everybody does. My dad doesn't. My real dad. And I respect that. I respect his beliefs as long as he respects mine. And that's the same. I respect yours, just asking that you respect mine. And I can't prove it. No. It's just, it definitely doesn't make me be a crappier person. Anyways. But then again, you have where, like I was raised, and again, hope there's no kids, but you're taught that Santa Claus is real. You're taught that the Easter Bunny is real. You're taught that the Tooth Fairy is real. You're taught all these things are real. When in fact, they're mom and dad. But then you're raised, I was raised, to believe in God. So I think that's not a good message that we're sending. I'm against it. I'm against lying to my kids about some things. And then no, God's real, so that's very confusing to me. I don't get that. But I'm not blaming my parents or anything like that. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. And again, it sends the wrong message. So I don't even know how I got into that. I never know. I don't know. We don't know if it's a conspiracy. It's definitely, it's these rings or these, they call them cults, I don't, it's just labels to me. They're shitty people. That's what they are. And they're opportunists, and birds of a feather flock together. They are like-minded people. And so you can do and be people of like mind, a meeting of the minds, and not have ulterior motives, not have hate in your heart. It's all with your intention, in my opinion. Just with our intentions, that's what's behind it. It's not that people pray, it's not that people meditate, it's not that people, do these things. It's what and why. What's their motive? What, like Lori and Chad and all these assholes praying, but bad things, bad intentions, black hearts, to me, it doesn't make sense. So I think it's all intentions as of right now. Yeah. And there's so much divisiveness. If there's anything, this we need to heal. We need to heal, and we need to just be positive, put out positive, be nice, do random acts of kindness, not for recognition, but just because you're not a shitty person, just because you want to see somebody else smile and make their day. And that's it. But anyways, it is, people make it complicated, in my opinion. How you doing, Janelle Murphy? Hey, Stephanie B. K-Tech. Yeah. All right, let me go back. Let me hush my mouth.
He would invite us to his mansion in Salt Lake for parties, and this name was redacted. We're always very excited to attend. Sometimes we took the harp and played in a little balcony over one of his main rooms for his guests. Here are a couple of facts about the alleged victim statements. Some or all alleged crimes could be
Okay, it's really about to be gross. Hopefully you can hear me. It's about to be really gross. Just know it's got some Jesus talk with relations. Okay, so there's your trigger warning. Ugh.
imaginary, especially alleged murder and cannibalism. What is factual, Bowen did undergo cult-like.
Oh my God, hold on. Not before I mess things up a great deal. See, I don't need help. I just made it all blue.
Exorcism.
Now to make it not blue. Stop. Okay. Woo! Alright, let's try that again. Boy, I can mess up a wet dream.
Crimes could be imaginary, especially alleged murder and cannibalism. What is factual, Bowen did undergo cult-like exorcisms by David Hamlin.
I have to ask, and Janelle, I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing this, but I don't know about Sean Little Bear. What is your God to honest opinion about Sean? Because I don't know. I want to be wrong, but it's so hard. Everything my gut tells me is that Sean's not a good guy. So, right, DJ. But anyways, not to put you on the spot, but I've been wanting to ask that for a long time. And I saw you here, so I guess I'm being an opportunist too.
The one who was arrested in September, and Bowen was previously accused of sexual assaults. So, who's Gordon Bowen? Let's start with his resume. He's now Chief International Creative Officer for New York City-based advertising agency McGarry Bowen. He was born in 1950, so he's now 72. He graduated from Salt Lake's Highland High in 1968. His future wife was a classmate. He served an LDS mission in England, attended the University of Utah, but did not graduate. In 1974, he was hired as a copywriter for J. Walter Thompson in Chicago. In 1979, he became a creative director for Bonneville Communications in Salt Lake City. That church-owned entity created the world-renowned Homefront series of family-promoting, award-winning public service announcements. That campaign began a few years before Bowen was hired. After leaving Bonneville Communications and Utah behind, Bowen was hired by the prestigious New York Madison Avenue ad agency Ogilvy and Mather. Advertising Age published a cover story on Bowen, headlined Gordon Bowen, a Mormon pilgrim in the Mecca of advertising. The article included a photo of several former Bonneville Communications employees Bowen persuaded to come along. At Ogilvy, Bowen shot to stardom with the American Express account, coining the tagline, "Membership has its privileges."
Bam, right? Now don't it? That to me stood out. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense.
I do have flight 139 leaving in 20 minutes, but only in first class.
I'll take it. Yeah, they're calling my flight. I'll be there. Nothing this much.
No, it just started.
Where is she?
The second potted plant from the left.
Coming through when you're needed most. Membership has its privileges.
In July 1991, the Salt Lake Tribune reported on Bowen's continued ascension and change of ad agencies. The story said, "Last week, Mr. Bowen astounded the ad community when he announced he was leaving Ogilvy and the creative direction of its most lucrative account, American Express. He moves to McCann Erickson, one of the world's 3 largest agencies, to capture the plum of all advertising jobs, Chief Creative Officer for Coca-Cola. In the ad world, getting the Coke account was huge." During that same time frame, Bowen worked on President George Bush's failed 1992 re-election campaign. The New York Times reported, "The joke on Madison Avenue last week was that President Bush could not nominate anyone to the Supreme Court until Gordon Bowen had made up his mind." During that same election cycle, Bowen assisted in Utah and Richard Eyer's unsuccessful campaign for Utah governor. Eyer losing to Mike Leavitt, brother of ritual sex ring suspect David Leavitt. In 1994, Bowen worked for Mitt Romney on his...
So there was that David Leavitt connection, you know. That's that attorney, the prosecuting attorney that's in bed or whatever with Tim Ballard, allegedly.
In 1994, Bowen worked for Mitt Romney on his Massachusetts Senate campaign. Romney lost to incumbent Senator Ted Kennedy. The next year, another job change. He worked for Young and Rubicam as creative director between 1995 and 97. His biggest account, AT&T. In 1995, he was appointed to the LDS Church Communications Futures Committee. In 1997, Bowen left Young and Rubicam and became creative director for Robert Redford and Sundance. Despite leaving Bonneville Communications, the church's advertising arm, Bowen still advised church leaders. Bowen worked with Russell Ballard and the late Richard Worthland, a Ronald Reagan strategist and advisor, to rebrand the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints logo so that Jesus Christ appeared in a much larger font. Another example of his work, Bowen produced the award-winning AT&T commercial that seemingly tore a page from the LDS Church's Homefront playbook. The ad shows a working mom getting ready to go to an important meeting when one of her kids asks, when does she get to be the client? The mother relents as a Cyndi Lauper hit, "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," plays in the background. In the late 1990s, Mitt Romney named Bowen creative director for Salt Lake's 2002 Winter Olympic Games. Bowen conceived the motto, "Light the Fire Within," designed the Olympic torch, shaping it like an icicle, and produced the opening ceremonies, Olympic head Mitt Romney would later write, Gordon's talent left us speechless and appreciative. Springboarding off his Olympic Games success, Bowen co-founded his own Madison Avenue ad agency, McGarry Bowen, quickly pulling in big-name clients like Disney, Wall Street Journal, Crayola, Century 21, Staples, Marriott, J.C. Penney. In 2009 and again in 2011, McGarry Bowen was Ad Age's Agency of the Year.
I'm Rob Lowe.
And I'm Gordon Bowen. We no longer have the ability in advertising to have a captured audience. They can zap us away in a nanosecond. And so
by the end of 2019, McGarry Bowen operated in 12 offices in 9 countries, with Bowen as its jet-setting ambassador, appearing in television interviews around the world. While Bowen still works out of his New York City headquarters, he also has a home in Salt Lake City, one that gained notoriety in Better Homes and Gardens magazine. The article said, when Gordon Bowen, a global advertising executive with roots in Utah, happened upon the property, it was a far different sight. Gordon is incredibly spontaneous and cinematic, but he was also intent on creating a nurturing home for his 2 children. On display in one room of Bowen's house, this male nude torso sculpture. As is common with many Greek statues, its junk is fully exposed, which makes a good segue to the next section of this.
I laughed whenever I heard that part because he just does a nice little segue. Okay, he's like, speaking of junk. Anyways, I'm always in the gutter. I come out maybe 2%. 98% I'm in the gutter.
Its junk is fully exposed, which makes a good segue to the next section of this report and Bowen's penis preoccupation. Bowen's erratic behavior includes a penchant for telling penis stories, evil spirit possession paranoia, alleged sexual assaults, and male escort massages. I'll begin this section with one of Gordon Bowen's secretary's recollections. Gordon was a brilliant man, but he also seemed to be tormented by personal demons. He would often sit in his office alone in semi-darkness, jotting down his thoughts on a yellow notepad. Sometimes I would see the cryptic scribblings, things like, "It's not good for a man to be alone. Take advantage of New York opportunities. Repair relationship with Dad. I have sinned greatly against God." He also seemed to have difficulty managing his finances. He must have been making an enormous amount of money, but bills were never paid on time, and creditors would call often demanding payment and threatening litigation. One day he gave me an envelope bulging with cash and sent me by taxi to a bank to make a credit card payment, which was overdue. In connection with Bowen's divorce and custody dispute, a former FBI agent gathered almost a dozen sworn statements from former Bowen co-workers. Here are some excerpts. He said he had been raped and sodomized by a man who was a friend of his father while his father looked on. I went to Gordon's house for one night only. Gordon showed me sheets that had been cut and clothing that had been torn. He told me that evil spirits had done these things. Gordon claimed to be beset with evil spirits nibbling on his body. Gordon would call me and ask me to stop by his house and stay with him because of his fear of evil spirits. Once I went to his house and found him looking exhausted and sitting in a corner on the floor. He told me he'd been choked by an unseen evil presence.
Doesn't this remind you guys of Jeffrey Lundgren? His wife, Jeffrey's wife, Alice Lundgren, about, the, how do I do this? Paralyzed, sleep paralysis, basically. That's kind of what she explained. And then also Lori. Lori says, Satan hates me most of her life. It makes me wonder, with Barry being a temple worker, it makes one wonder what all in the hell could have been going on and what exactly is being conjured up, especially knowing the way that Lori and friends and Chad, everybody, how they prayed. It was with bad intentions, so it's like, what the hell? It's scary to me. It's reality also.
I recall that Gordon was an endless pattern of deception and deceit. While at Bonneville, Gordon would make a point to talk about how other people had said how Christ-like he was. I observed Gordon had delusions of grandeur. It seemed he felt he had some grand mission to accomplish in the church.
We just heard, and whether it's true or not, but kind of from by ye fruit ye shall know type of thing, but how Lori, the Adam, said that she wanted to have this mission or whatever. I really think that she was told that, but that's me. I think there's more at play, of course, but that's my conspiracy. Don't sue me.
But at the same time, it was obvious he wasn't active. More often than not, he did not go to church on Sundays. Gordon wore his membership in the Mormon church on his sleeve. His wicked ways have scarred forever the reputation of the church in the New York advertising community. Gordon's homosexual, sadomasochistic activities became an embarrassing, widespread joke in the advertising community. In about 1987, when Bowen lived in
This is another thing that is in common, in my opinion, with the Jeffrey Lundgren, Alice Lundgren story, cult story or whatever. There was feces involved. Yeah. Well, anyways. Ugh.
In a suburb in Westchester County, neighborhood boys had broken into his home and smeared feces on the walls and furniture. A friend said it appeared Gordon had been involved with the youths and that they were none too happy about it. In about 1992, Bowen did not show up to a meeting. Soon thereafter, there were rumors that Bowen was found naked, chained or handcuffed to a bed or radiator, feces smeared on his body.
Was this because there's just more sinister things going on here, in my opinion. I think that this might have been that whole ritual abuse shit. Like, these are the stories that are being told, but that, I don't know. It makes it, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it yet. Besides effing disgusting.
Gordon told me that he had burned his dick while he was ironing. He explained that he was naked while ironing and that the iron hit his penis. Gordon liked to tell various stories involving a penis. He repeatedly told about being in the bathtub and having his penis rise to the surface, and about his cat attacking his penis. I heard him tell this several times. At one time, Bowen aspired to be a Hollywood screenwriter. That may have been the motivation behind two of his literary writings titled Dearest Savior and The Holy Dream. In 1992, Bowen began drafting a story, maybe a screenplay, that he titled Dearest Savior. He dedicated it to Barbara Timothy, who he had yet to marry, and to Jesus. Here are two excerpts.
Yet to marry. This is another coincidence this is another like-minded story. How about that? Before he married her.
Who he had yet to marry, and to Jesus. Here are two excerpts. Open with a child, long blonde hair, blue eyes. She is in prison. As far as I can see, are thousands of adult men, naked. All have extremely small penises, but they're fixated on them. In fact, all are doing exercises of some kind or another, trying to make them larger. I take the child in my arms. All the naked men are in the fiery furnaces doing their penis exercises. I hold her next to my chest and escape. During a 2008 video deposition, Bowen admitted it was his handwriting, but claimed he could not remember writing it.
Gordon's Dearest Savior script for Barbara and Jesus, My Only True Loves. It's in 1992. There it is. Open with a child, long blonde hair, blue eyes. She is in prison. As far as I can see are thousands of adult men naked. All have extremely small penises, but they are fixated on them. In fact, all are doing exercises of some kind or another to make them larger. Do you remember that, writing that?
I don't.
Is that not your writing?
Yes, it is.
A couple more quotes from Bowen's script. I am holding the child. She is sentenced to death for killing a man. The man who is the largest looks surprisingly like my father, doing penis exercises feverishly. The man she killed was killing children and sexually abusing them. She says she was not sleeping with the man, although some accuse her of it. The second story, Bowen titled The Holy Dream. He was also asked about it during his deposition. It's a story about Jesus riding a horse. There's a scripture in the Old Testament about Jesus riding a white horse, but Bowen's story has him riding a black horse. Here's the storyline. A voice tells a boy child he needs to cross a treacherous ravine to find hidden treasure, gold on the other side. In the ravine below, he sees a river of blood with millions of heads bobbing to the surface, disemboweled, disembodied, but very much alive.
Okay, this reminds me of Jeffrey Lundgren story, and I forget which one. Luff was his last name. Basically, the right arm. He was the Alex, the muscle, or whatever. Did the killings also. But he spoke about how in Lundgren's barn there was. He looked at it like Moses parting the Red Sea, because it would flood in there whenever it would rain. It's just weird, but it resembles that just a little bit. Just thought I'd bring it up.
The voice says, you must cross the ravine now. Make the leap of faith. Jesus will carry you. Just come to me, Jesus, right on my back. We will cross the chasm together. The story describes a juicy, naked, engorged Jesus mounting a black horse, wrapping his bare thighs around the hairy mane. It seems that Bowen's story infers at times he's the horse that Jesus mounted. The horse says or thinks, I'm ready for this eternal rider. Rub me, mount me. Then he writes, and this is copied from the script, children run forward. There are hundreds of them, but a chosen few, come forward with outstretched arms and begin to stroke me, touch all my hidden places, the tingling tenderness. I feel overwhelmed with awe.
It's gross. This is so freaking gross and offensive, and I'm right there with you. I just think it's important. Ugh.
Bowen's phone records obtained during his custody dispute show he frequently hired male escorts in various cities to give him massages. One example, this is a Salt Lake Escorts website with a link to nude photos. Another in Nevada. I blacked out the escort's erection. Bowen denied sex with male prostitutes, but he admitted being fondled by male masseurs. This Q&A is from a video deposition. Did you ever request the services of male prostitutes? I have never had a sexual relationship with another man, prostitute or otherwise, but I did have massage services from males that I hired to do so. And do male massage services that you used also massage the genital area? They can, yes. Did they, in your experience? A couple of times. I didn't like it, so I stopped it.
Did you ever request the services of male prostitutes? The I have never had a sexual relationship with another man, prostitute or otherwise, if that's the question. But I did have massage services from males that I hired to do so, yes.
And do male massage services that you used also massage the genital area?
They can, yes.
Did they in your experience?
A couple of times I didn't like it, so I stopped it.
Reasons for employees quitting or being fired are often confidential, but former Bowen colleagues believe he was fired from several jobs. From Bonneville Productions, the rumor was he was padding expenses or
Bonneville Productions, that is Mormon owned. Just throwing that out there. It's also a town right there by Rexburg, Bonneville, Idaho. Or no, Bonneville. I'll shut up. I don't know.
odd behavior or a lawsuit threat. Ogilvy and Mather. McCann Erickson, rumors of the botched Coca-Cola account or the found tied to a bed incident. Young and Rubicam, rumored expense padding. And from Sundance, expense padding and maybe watching porn and putting it on his expense account. Bowen, however, has been like this cat escaping a burning building. He gets out of what looks like a career-ending screw-up and lands on his feet time and time again. Bowen believed he had a special mission to perform for the Mormon Church. But the conflict is, he's gay, and the LDS Church teaches gay sex is a sin. For religious and business reasons, Bowen created an appearance he's straight. He dated women from time to time to bolster that appearance. He believed God chose Barbara Timothy to be his wife, even before she was widowed with 3 children. In 1995, Bowen, at age 43, married Barbara Timothy after her first husband died. It was his first marriage. Barbara Timothy's husband, Stephen, a veterinarian, died at age 40. Barbara and Steve had 3 sons. Gordon Bowen, even before Steve's death, had targeted Barbara as his wife-to-be and attended Steve's funeral. 3 months after Stephen's death, Bowen wrote Barbara, referring to wording in the LDS temple ceremony, and warned that Satan taught that God was without body parts and passions. Then, skipping ahead, Bowen wrote, God the Father has a penis, and God the Mother has a vagina. During the courtship, Bowen arranged for LDS Apostle M. Russell Ballard to give Barbara a priesthood blessing. Marriage would bring Bowen in line with the LDS position that marriage between man and woman is essential to his eternal plan. At this time, Bowen was consulting with top church leaders, including President Gordon Hinckley, about branding and image matters. Apparently, they didn't like the fact a top advisor was still single, so leaned on Bowen to get married, as reflected in Bowen's letter to President Hinckley, which said, the last time I spoke with you via Elder Ballard, your words were, tell him to get married. Now, Bowen asked President Hinckley to officiate at his upcoming temple marriage to Barbara. The couple was married on September 23, 1995, in the Salt Lake Temple. But it was James Faust, a counselor in the first presidency, who officiated, not church president Gordon Hinckley. Faust, who married Gordon and Barbara, seen here later with the couple's first child, had taken a strong stand against homosexuality. He taught homosexuality is not acquired by birth, it's by choice and is pleasing to the devil. He said the false belief in inborn homosexual orientation denies to repentant souls the opportunity to change. Why didn't President Hinckley marry Gordon and Barbara? At the last minute, Hinckley decided to announce the long-anticipated proclamation to the world about the importance of heterosexual marriage in opposition to gay marriage.
We have felt to warn and forewarn. In furtherance of this, we of the First Presidency and the Council of the 12 Apostles now issue a proclamation to the Church and to the world that marriage between a man and a woman is ordained of God.
He had it right. I think he was saying women. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. It's just such a. It's so weird and gross and disturbing. So, just trying to make light of it. It's gross. I commend y'all for being here. Y'all are some tough people. You know, we gotta be to stomach this shit.
We further declare that God has commanded that the sacred powers of procreation are to be employed only between man and woman lawfully wedded as husband and wife. We warn that the disintegration of the family will bring upon individuals, communities, and nations the calamities foretold by ancient and modern prophets.
The proclamation underpinned LDS opposition to gay marriage, including the church's successful 2008 campaign in California supporting Proposition 8, a ban on same-sex marriage. President Hinckley, having made the proclamation to the world earlier in the day, made it to Gordon and Barbara's lavish wedding reception, as did Massachusetts millionaire Mitt Romney, among other celebrity guests. Gordon and Barbara had 2 children. Gordon went through several job changes, firings, major advertising successes, as already noted. He was excommunicated from the LDS Church in January 2003. The reasons were not made public. Barbara was told Russell Ballard knew about it. Gordon's lie about being gay, his extreme erratic behavior, worry about possible pedophilia were among factors that led to divorce. Bowen's journal shows that he thought he could help his church with the so-called gay problem. Among entries,
Okay, so this is gonna sound to me this sounds a lot like. It's really gonna get interesting here. So I mean, just hang in there. But this sounds a lot like Melanie Pawlowski and how she had the gay meter telling her in the temple that Brandon was gay. That's so you'll let me know if you see the same similarities. I'm curious.
get rebaptized. You need to help the church know how to cure homosexuality. You need to be in touch with President Faust. Send Mel's book to President Faust. Here he's referring to Mormon exorcist Mel Fish.
Real quick, also, I want to know Mel Fish. He was this exorcist, right? He's no longer alive, but whenever Melanie Gibb, Lori, Zalima, when they all traveled to that St. George or wherever, St. George conference, and that's when her and Chad, met one another, October 26th, 2018, and there was a Jana Lee Fish, and for the longest time, and I apologize, Janelle, I thought that was you, but Jana Lee Fish, I had looked her up on the internet a while back, and it's clearly not you. But I just wonder if she's related to I wonder if Mel is her dad or whatever, because his last name is Fish. I'm just wondering.
There is much yet to know, to exorcise and exercise. You've been targeted by Satan himself. Barbara has been possessed by evil spirits just as you were and are. Barbara is controlled by evil spirits right now, but you gave them to her through intercourse. The female evil spirits that are holding onto your core must go to the light. Plan the attack. This is Pearl Harbor. Pay. You have got to go in blazing on a white stallion. Get prepared for war with Satan. He's trying to destroy you and your family. Barbara is his instrument now. You need to look pure in your eyes to your family and friends and bishop. You need balls. Make certain that you do not eat refined sugar. It feeds your negative energy and a false female in you. It saps you of your masculine strength. Bowen attempted to convert himself from gay to straight during the marriage. He believed his homosexuality was caused by evil spirits or female spirits that inhabited his body. He sought to have those spirits cast out by self-proclaimed exorcists David Hamblin, Melvin Fish, and Kissy Watkins. Hamblin is the one arrested this past September. Fish and Watkins are deceased. Hamblin divorced in 2003. During the trial, he was accused of experimenting with his children using peyote and hypnotism. 2 of 4 daughters testified he sexually abused them.
Now, right here is what I was talking about with the peyote thing, you know. I know that Sean Little Bear with Kevin Campbell, I think Sean Little Bear had made a sweat lodge or whatever in Rexburg, and it was on a Preparing a People flyer. And I just kind of wanted to note that, you know, right there.
Trial judge Stephen Hansen found that during the period between 1991 and 1999, petitioner taught each of his minor children and respondent, that's his wife, about his parts theories and used his minor children as guinea pigs or experiments by conducting psychological therapy with his minor children, including, among other things, the use of hypnosis and giving them priesthood blessings. Petitioner gave each of them, including, and I've redacted out the daughter's name, peyote, on at least one occasion. One daughter became violently ill as a result of using peyote, and another became dizzy and hallucinated. Kissy Watkins attended BYU and the University of Utah. She was a returned Mormon missionary. She worked with David Hamblin. She engaged in quackery, practicing Christ-centered healing and cranial osteopathy and foot zoning. Dr. Melvin Fish wrote the book, Healing the Inner Self. I interviewed him prior to his passing. Gordon told me he was gay and needed help. Fish performed a kinesiology test and found Bowen possessed by 2 or 3 malicious female spirits.
Sound familiar? And this is muscle testing.
Who made Bowen 90% gay. Fish exorcised the spirits, changing Bowen to 10% gay, which he considered normal. Bowen talked about the exorcism in his journal with God speaking to him. You have rid yourself of 90% of your H parts. However, what remains is strong and female and robs you of power and voice. Trust me, believe, faithful, fill your body with faith. Mel is right. You are not an H man, referring to homosexual. This is Satan's lie. Another entry where God speaks to him. Gordon, my son, believe what happened with Mel and with Kissy. It's true. You did cast out female spirits from your body that are not you. You are not an H man, period. One of Barbara's sons by her first marriage provided an affidavit about David Hamblin.
And this is David Hamblin. He's gross. In my opinion, I don't care. Fox 13 News has covered this story, and you can actually find more of the in-depth investigative reports that Adam Herbitz has done on his actual YouTube channel, which is Adam Herbitz. Just do the @ Adam Herbitz. It's interesting. Birds of a feather.
David Hamblin arrived to stay in Gordon's New York apartment, who had been Gordon's therapist years ago. Having had his license revoked, and his specialty now was casting out evil spirits. They sat us down, essentially told us that our mom was off her rocker, that if she did leave Gordon, she would be making a serious mistake, and that God would be very angry with her. Next, Mitt Romney and Gordon Bowen. One website has already named Bowen as an alleged perpetrator in the Utah County case and connected him to Mitt Romney. The headline, high-profile individuals involved in child ritualistic and sexual abuse throughout Utah. It says, Gordon Bowen has the most disturbing allegations against him. He is a high-ranking member of the Church of Satan. Then it says Olympics. Bowen also helped campaign for Mitt Romney when he ran for office. Craig Romney also worked for Bowen at his company, McGarry Bowen. Well, it's not yet established as fact there ever was any Church of Satan, but as reported, Bowen did work for Romney campaigns and on the Olympics. Here are some bullet points. In 1993, Bowen worked on the unsuccessful Mitt Romney for Senate campaign in Massachusetts. In 1999, he helped Romney with the 2002 Winter Games. In 2002, Bowen advised Romney on his successful campaign for Michigan governor. Then in 2007, Bowen advised Romney as he campaigned for president and Mormon leader Russell Ballard as he traveled the United States defending Mormonism, ostensibly to help the Romney campaign. Bowen was also connected with Mitt Romney's sons. Bowen befriended 4 of 5 sons, Tag, Josh, Ben, and Craig. A family acquaintance says the boys often used Bowen's apartment as a crash pad when visiting the Big Apple. 2 sons, Craig and Ben, lived with Bowen when they interned at his ad agencies. Tag steered a lucrative Reebok contract to Bowen's business, and Bowen helped Josh with a short career stint as a model. In 1996, Bowen arranged an internship at his New York ad agency for Ben Romney, Mitt's second youngest son. He reportedly stayed with Bowen at his apartment. He's now a radiologist, lives in Holiday, Utah with his wife and child. He declined an interview. Bowen introduced Josh to modeling when Bowen was at Sundance. He arranged a catalog shoot in Santa Barbara. Here's one of the shots. A friend said Josh quit modeling after that. The friend said, I think a lot of families in the Mormon culture are kind of wigged out by the whole idea that you can be a model, like every day is gay, that it's an immoral business. He said, I felt like there was some pushback for Josh. Youngest son, Craig, did a 2-month internship at McGarry Bowen before graduating from BYU in 2005. During the internship, he stayed with Bowen at his Chelsea apartment. I interviewed Craig, who told me he knew Bowen as gay, mostly based on his mannerisms. Next in this report, Ballard's and Bowen's secret Jesus movie. It's an example of the continuing.
I mean, this is just building on the Tim Ballard, okay? We're almost finished. Hang in there. I know it's disturbing. It's gross. So are the murders of Tylee, JJ, and Charles, Tammy, and even Joe.
Alliance between the men. It was a multi-million-dollar project Ballard and the Mormon Church entrusted to Bowen despite Bowen's odd, even eerie notions about the Savior. Details about the Jesus movie have been kept secret. Neither Ballard nor Bowen will comment. What little is known, in about 2019, the LDS Church, likely via Russell Ballard and the Public Affairs Committee, wanted to commission a Hollywood-style feature film about Jesus Christ. Ballard directed the project to his longtime friend and media advisor, Gordon Bowen, rather than to the church's in-house Bonneville Communications. The movie project, ostensibly costing $20 million, was never publicly announced, and details about when and where it was filmed kept secret. As the project began, a member of the church who knew Gordon Bowen wrote Russell Ballard, describing Bowen's unsavory reputation. "I had to tell Ballard this guy is really bad," the writer said. The letter asked, "What if it comes to the attention of the national press? This man has so much influence with LDS leaders, and he's a child molester. It would be terrible for the church." The member got a phone response from Ballard's secretary saying, "We're keeping an eye on him." The project proceeded under Bowen's direction, and at least a rough cut of the movie was produced. After the film was shot and edited, Bowen apparently previewed it in his Salt Lake home for some Mormon general authorities. One source outside church leadership circles who saw the film said it was a disaster. The footage was said to have been turned over to the church's in-house division for film production, Bonneville Communications, to see if they could salvage it. Apparently not. No Mormon Jesus movie has yet been announced. Bowen, Ballard, and church media relations will not comment. Finally, wrapping up this report, did a satanic child sex abuse ring operate in 4 Utah counties? Were David Levitt, Gordon Bowen, and others named by alleged child sex abuse victims participants in a sex-crazed, devil-worshipping cult? Or falsely accused? Looking at the satanic allegation by itself, nothing publicly known corroborates the victim's satanic claims. While there's not enough known to rule out devil worship, based on what I know, it's very unlikely. Bowen wanted evil spirits cast out, not summoned. His writings castigate Satan and venerate Jesus. There is not yet any physical evidence of devil worship. However, as near as I can tell, the case was never fully investigated by Provo Police and later Homeland Security before they both dropped it. Experts have found most claims of satanic child sex abuse to be false.
In my opinion, I think this is why these horrible things keep happening, because it works, because it's too outlandish, it's too we can't wrap our minds around that kind of disgusting, abhorrent behavior. Depraved, that's the word that comes to mind when I think of Lori, Chad, and upper management. Just being honest, depravity is just, they're morally bankrupt people, and it's crazy. Anyways.
The FBI's ritual child abuse expert, Kenneth Lanning, submitted a report in 1992. He wrote, "In 1984, when I first began to hear stories of what sounded like satanic or occult activity in connection with allegations of ritual sexual victimization of children, I tended to believe them. But after years of investigating, Lanning concluded almost all allegations of satanic child sex abuse are false. He did say, I believe the majority of victims alleging ritual abuse are in fact victims of some form of abuse or trauma." He added, "I'm concerned about the credibility of the child sexual abuse issue an outrage that in some cases individuals are getting away with molesting children because we cannot prove they are satanic devil worshipers.
So what I got from that was, that's why, I mean, how do you talk about something so gross, so horrible, yet know that it happened inside your family, to people that you love? How do you talk about something that's polarizing? I mean, it's just, what the frick, I still struggle with it, and I don't know. I just know that researching it does not hurt. It doesn't hurt me to learn. It doesn't hurt me to explore. If anything, I want to do right by Tylee and JJ, especially their children. They did not ask for any of this. And there's a lot more Tylee and JJs out there, both past and present and future. I mean, just it doesn't hurt to learn about things, in my opinion, so that at least I'm aware of it, and it's just been such a challenge to wrap your mind. I can't even wrap my mind around it, it's bad. And so but this works for those that are doing it, is what I'm saying. If they say, and they put satanic in there, that's automatically, I would shut down. But I try to just say ritual murder, because it is ritual. I will have DJ Norman on here, and he will explain. I mean, it's out there, but he has figured out all the dates of Chad and Lori, of their victims, and how they tie in, and it's nuts. It's just freaking nuts. I didn't mean to do that, but we're almost done here. I'm trying to turn where is it? This is me talking to myself back here. But woohoo, DJ says, don't be freaking everybody out. No, I've watched DJ Norman in so many different chats across so many different channels from the beginning. I remember when I would see his comments, I'd be like, oh my God, what the hell is that dude talking about? But I knew it was important. And I just, I would just read whatever caught my attention. I would read it, and I would just be like, okay. And I would say, well, he's got a story. There's a story there. There's a reason he's saying these things. And I may not understand it, especially in 250 characters or however many or less in a comment section. It's, oh, good. I'm glad you're here, Elizabeth Grogan and Humanimal. But the dates, everything's symbolic. And their symbolism is a big thing, especially with Chad and Lori, especially with Lori, but Chad too. The green, Raphael, Tuesdays. See you next Tuesday, right? The Malachite rings. There's the seven. There's seven, everything's seven, and then the 7/11 date that my uncle was murdered. That was a special day for Lori. Remember? Always, DJ. I just never want to silence people. Just because I don't understand doesn't mean that you don't have a story or that you can't help me understand, We're all different people. We all have different perspectives. No two of us have the same story. That's what's unique. That's the cool. It takes every color to make the world go round, So I'm just glad that you guys, chose to spend a couple hours or so with me, just to kind of explore, just to learn, figure things out, take it, leave it, take what you need, leave the rest, I mean, it's just food for thought. Unfortunately, not all food tastes good. Pretty shitty. But, I mean, okay, I'm with that, Olive. I am of the same opinion. I mean, it's so different than what was presented to me. Everybody, and I say everybody, majority of the people who were in the chat rooms in the very beginning, the Facebook groups, when we were trying to find Tylee and JJ, I'm sure they were trying to help at whichever level they were at. However, the church, in my opinion, has made basically an army, in my opinion, and they don't maybe know it, that I saw so many times where even still, even if I say this could be going on, I mean, you got to wonder, I don't know. I'm not Mormon. I've never been. I respect them. I respect good people. If you're good and you have, you know what I mean? If you have good intent and you're here for the right reasons, I'm not here to persecute anybody. I'm not here to persecute the damn church. I'm not here to persecute. I'm here to find answers. Okay? And I don't think that is wrong. It's human nature. But when people elevate a church, especially a building, an institution, and men that poo and pee like me and you, and they put their pants on one leg at a time, unless you're really super, I can't think of the words, but coordinated, and can jump into your pants. That's cool. I'd like to see that. But they're just men. They're not holier than thou. They are not better than me. They're not better than you. They're not better than the people that they enslave, in my opinion. It's just gross to see and to really evolve, to learn, and know different, and how people present things to you. That's their narrative. That's what they know. That's their experience. They've never perhaps seen it from this side of murder. Instead, they see me or people like me, as attacking, rightfully so. That's not a far stretch. It's just, if you are doing truth, if you're doing good, if you're doing good things, then you have nothing to worry about. I think there's even there's a leader in the church that has said something to that effect. And I mean, then you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to fear if it's true. You're doing good. You can't wear any pants. I put some spandex on years ago. Don't do it. That's all I'm saying. Don't put yoga pants on. You will never get back in. You'll never get back into them. Holy shit. I'm here to testify to that. Whoo! Them bands, the elastic bands, they just stretch and stretch and stretch. Oh, I hope you feel better. Don't feel bad, Stanawa. That's what I'm going with right now. It was 3 years, no, right before Uncle Charles got murdered, May of 2019. And I just got new burn barrels. Okay. Those burn barrels I always tell you all about, they're just old drums or whatever. And you light fires in them. I do. And, well, I was wet behind the ears, basically brand new, acting like I was brand new. I was 41, 42, whatever. And so I'd put some stuff in the barrel. I grabbed, while Jason was not looking, of course, but our neighbor was. So I got busted. But there were just a few, I'm saying, drops of gas left over. You know where this is going. In the gas can. And so I was just like, okay, well, this will help me light it, right? Don't do that. Don't do it. Telling you right now, don't do it, because woof, okay. And I walked in, Jason was like, what's wrong? I wouldn't even look at him. I was just my hair blew back from the fire and the fumes and the whatever it calls. Don't do that. Okay. So I do dumb things all the time. And I was a certified occupational safety specialist. That's the, oh my God, that's the insanity of it all, the craziness. I'm the most accident prone person, yet be careful. Work safe. Anyways, so yeah, I screw things up. Yeah, I got them back. I have my eyebrows back little brands because they were very thin for a long time. Very whoosh. Very whoosh. Anyways, so I really do thank y'all for being here. Y'all are some good sports. That's what I meant to say earlier. Not good with words. I appreciate you being here. Carrie Ann, our thoughts and prayers are with your baby. I didn't get to read it all, but definitely with you, with everybody here. Thank y'all for being here. And I'm going to end. There's just a little bit left of this, but I'm not going to come back. So basically, we're going to end on this last little bit right here. And then I'll let y'all know in the community, whatever, community post about whenever I talk to Galactic Storyteller. That it should be an interesting conversation. I really think so. She's smart as all get out. So, and I'll let y'all know whenever that comes out too. Donna, thank you. Trace, thank you. Beach Bum, miss you, love you. And I hope y'all have a great 4th of July also. Uncle Charles's death anniversary is coming up. That's going to be tough. It already is. I can hear it in my voice. But, and I also found out, I was talking to my friend Suze, right? And I found out, I was like, hold on. I think I was showing her a picture of my cousin Bethany. Let me Google it up real quick. I have to show you. She's beautiful. And so she was, I'll show you better than I can tell you. And then we'll go back and we'll end on it. Oh, well, first I got to click on it. Anyways, this is Bethany. She was Miss Louisiana. Hopefully y'all can see it. Probably not. Oh, yep. Okay. Listen to me doubting myself. But so I went to show her a picture of my cousin Bethany, right? And well, come to find out, she's actually, well, I won't be able to find out. She works for oh hell. What the hell? I don't want to sign in. She works for the attorney's office here in where I live, Calcasieu Parish District Attorney's Office. And she's a experience in communications, public relations, and the nonprofit sector. Bethany generates strategic community outreach and advocacy efforts to targeted audiences. Her strengths include social media management, content creation, developing and implementing marketing campaigns in media and public relations. I was like, and I still haven't done it, but I was like, oh my God, I didn't even show y'all. It didn't even change. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. I'm not dumb, but I do dumb things. But yeah, so this is Bethany, and I was like, oh, okay, she got married. I've missed out on enjoying my family like I used to, this case, and my dedication to it, has just taken over my entire life. So I'm going to contact her and see if she can help me with a victim impact plan. Me and Larry and anybody else who's not allowed in the damn courtroom. Well, we're allowed, but who can't speak, who aren't worthy enough, you know how that is. Anyways, so yeah, I thought that was really interesting how that I was like, oh, okay, I was just trying to show how she's beautiful, and she's smart just as much as she is on the outside. She's just as beautiful on the inside. Anyways, so with that being said, let me get back over to allegedly to this tab, and then we're gonna roll out on this. And so thank you, Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins. You guys are proof of that.
In 1992, the Utah Governor's Office funded $250,000 for an Attorney General investigation into Utah ritual abuse. The task force's report was published in 1995. It said, The AG's office studied 300 cases of ritual sexual abuse which claimed children were sexually abused and Satanism was involved. We were only able to truly get confessions where someone had used Satanism or satanic beliefs or doctrine as part of their control mechanism in only about 3 or 4. Allegations of organized Satanists, even groups of Satanists who have permeated every level of government and religion, were unsubstantiated. Mike King, who led the investigation, concluded, however, it is possible and even likely that there were isolated instances of child sex abusers using satanic or occult imagery to scare victims into silence. Even though very few, there have been Mormon-related, ritualistic, cult-like child sex abuse cases. One was the 1991 Zion Society cult case. It was a deviant polygamous cult or ring. There could have been up to 4,000 child victims. 12 were eventually convicted. Deceived is a book about Detective Mike King's investigation and ultimate takedown of the deviant polygamous cult led by Arvin Shreve. Another is the case of Ann A. Johnson Davis, where there was concrete evidence of satanic ritual child sexual abuse. It was not prosecuted because of the statute of limitations. Davis, now deceased, wrote a book about her ordeal. That's the end. Viewers who wish can email comments or suggested corrections to lpacker636